Welcome to the Heart-Centered Entrepreneur Series. My name is Jody Maley, and I've been an entrepreneur and business owner for over 27 years now. Thanks for joining the podcast, and I can't wait to share with you tips and ideas on how to grow your heart-centered entrepreneur business. As a personality dimensions coach, I help entrepreneurs discover who they are at their core so they can have real and authentic sales conversations with their ideal clients. We all started or joined a business so that we can make an income on our terms. Whether you're just starting out in your entrepreneur journey or have been in sales for a while, the key to any business is sales and nurturing the sales relationship. So I invite you to sit back, relax, maybe even have your favorite drink and take some notes as we have fun delving in to learn more from the top 1% to 2% income earners who are making such a difference and impact for themselves and their beautiful teams. Their tips and ideas will uplift and inspire you in a heart-centered, authentic way to help lift you up, move you forwards towards your perfect dream and goal. So stay tuned to the end of each podcast as I will share a little gift from me that I know will get you inspired in your beautiful business. Hey everyone, super glad that you've joined us today and my special guest here, Inga. And I'm going to let Inga introduce herself shortly here. But one of the reasons that I love doing what I'm doing and to be on point with it is to be reaching other humans who have similar stories as us, and especially for people starting out in their entrepreneur journey, it is so nice to be with other amazing women who can lift each other up, give inspiration where it's needed, and the stories of other people usually is somewhere where you may be right now. And these amazing women have already been about there 10, 15 years ago is what I'm kind of finding. And by sharing our stories, it can help and enlighten someone today. So I'm going to let Inga here introduce herself and tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, and what started you on this entrepreneur journey.
Awesome. Well, my name is Inga Fay. I go by Inga Fay. I'm an authenticity strategist, and I help female entrepreneurs with introverted tendencies level up their business to whatever goal or desire they have. And I started this about 3 years ago. However, I've been in direct sales for 19 years and have had my little twists and turns, trials and tribulations of as many of us have. And have really been able to build a business that I'm proud of, that I have earned 4 diamond rings in my company, as well as a couple of cars, and just continuing to build my leadership as well as my team to help them reach their desired goals, even if it's not what I want. Even if it's not where I am, I'll say, not what I want them to do, because what they do is great. And I'm sure many of you have discovered that in building your business, especially in a direct sales space, that, you just love them where they are. So yeah, so super excited to be here with you today. And I am hail from Mobile, Alabama today. So
The accent. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Someone said to me the other day, they were from Maryland, and I was speaking to them, and they're like, "Oh, I love your accent." I'm like, "I have an accent? Oh, that's kind of cool. Thank you."
Yeah. And I didn't think I had an accent either, because I'm originally from Virginia. So
there you go. So you said that you've been in direct sales for how many years? Over 15? 19 years. Well, congratulations on that. That's pretty big. Go
yes.
back to 19 years. Let's hear from the younger Inga there. See, I blended your name there.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell us a little bit about when you did start 19 years ago. Like, where were you at, and why did you choose direct sales? Because I have this question with a lot of people. Like, why did someone actually choose to go into direct sales?
Well, when I started my business, I was working as a mechanical engineer. So as many of you know, mechanical engineering is a very male-dominated type of field. So when I started, it was an opportunity for me to be around some powerful, empowering girlfriends that I didn't have at work. That's first and foremost. I was already using the product that I was about to sell. That was another reason. So I was looking at it for the girlfriends and then for the discount. And initially when I started, I just kind of dabbled. I can just tell you, I really dabbled, really didn't tell many people about what I was doing, did a lot of arts and crafts. So if there was some kind of trend that I wanted to look at, that I could do that on a page, because I mean, that's just my wheelhouse from being an engineer. But when it came down to talking to people and actually working my business, I don't know, for whatever reason, that kind of went over my head. So I changed, I guess my whole business kind of changed when my husband got sick, and I had to figure out another way for us to make an income because he had stopped working, and the things that we had come accustomed to doing because he wasn't working, we couldn't do. So that was when I kind of was like, okay, I'm going to have to figure this thing out, because if I don't figure it out, I don't want to go working at a mall for $10 an hour, when I could be doing the things that I want to do when I want to do it. And if I just worked my business the way it should be worked. So at that particular point, I sought out a mentor because unfortunately I was one of those folks that had an MIA upline. But I knew that at this particular point in my life that it was my business. And one of my other mentors told me that I was an independent contractor with the right to control my own business. So once I got that permission to really realize that this is my business, and if this person is not helping me, so what? I'm going to figure it out anyway. And that's essentially what I did. I sought out a person on Facebook that I knew was a rock star in my company. And she was gracious with me and allowed me to go to her training, because I just basically called her and told her my story. Look, my upline is not helping me. I really want to do big things in this company, but I need help. And I need somebody to help me figure this thing out. And like I said, she was gracious to me. I went to her trainings. I drove probably 7-8 hours to participate in her trainings that she offered. And I would oftentimes have people say, you drove up here or you drove down here all by yourself and your upline is not here? No, my upline is not here, but I know this is my business. And if I want to make it happen, I'm going to have to figure that out myself. I'm not going to wait on my upline to figure it out. So that's essentially what I did.
I love that. And I love that you took the initiative to do that. I went on a similar journey when I call it accidental leadership, because I was doing a home party one day, and one of the guests came up and like, I want to join your team. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know I could have a team. This is new. And so I went to my upline, and she was like, your dreams are bigger than my dreams and vision. You need to go to who signed me up. So I was gracious enough that I was allowed into the inner circle fairly quickly with our company. But same thing, I live in a small little community. I also had to drive 8 hours, and the people, yeah, they were like amazed. And I remember one evening I showed up she was like, if you're serious about this, you'll be here tonight. And I'm like, okay. And this was like at 6 a.m. in the morning. And I remember saying to my ex-husband at the time, I'm like, hey, I need to go here. You're watching the kids today. I'll be back I may even stay down there. It was in Vancouver. I'm like, I may even stay down there and shop a day or two, but whatever, you and the kids are on your own. See ya. And I drove, right, and I got there. So I left here around like 9-ish, got there at 6:30 in the evening. The meeting was starting at 7. And she was like, oh, you like actually showed up. And I'm like, you told me to be here.
Exactly.
I made the commitment to be in leadership. And it was funny because I didn't really have a chance to eat. And she was so gracious and made me a beautiful salad and whatever. And used me as an example, because those who want to create the most are willing to sacrifice at the beginning for the more later.
Yep, for sure.
Right?
For sure. I totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah. And so with that journey, so you've won diamond rings and cars, and that's awesome and amazing. And I love that. But talk a little bit about what that journey took. Like, what was your mindset going on, and like, what was Inga feeling and going through at that time? Was it all, what I'm getting at, was it instant, or did you have to learn and grow?
No, it was not instant. And for anyone out here that thinks it's instant, they're telling you a tale. because it's definitely a journey that I had to go through. And one of the things that comes to mind is I remember when I first started my business, I am an introvert through and through. So when I first started my business, after talking to my friends and family, it was like, okay, so now what? Because now that means I'm gonna have to talk to people that I don't know, which I don't like doing. So I used to have to just really get in the mindset. I would just kind of force myself, okay, I'm going to go talk to 5 people today, just out and about. So I would go and talk to 5 people. And I had somebody just tell me, okay, well, Inga, today when you go and talk to these 5 people, I just want you to smile at them. Just smile. We're going to do this in a process. You're just going to go out and just smile. Okay, so I'll go out and smile. Okay,
I love it.
I can do that
Smile.
part. All right.
I can smile.
I can smile. Okay, so now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to smile, and then you're going to tell them, hi, my name is Inga. What's your name? And, if they smile at you, more than likely they're going to tell you their name because they are a happy person and they're not going to be snotty about it. So that's what I did. And then after that, then it became a point, okay, now, Inga, you're going to talk to them. You're going to ask them their name, or you're just going to go and give them a genuine compliment. It could be about their shoes, their hair, their clothing, their kid, whatever you see or something you can actually relate to them, that you have something in common that you can talk about. That's what you're going to go do.
Yeah.
So I gradually did this. And I remember my husband was just like, wow, you've really come out of your shell, because you didn't used to talk to people you didn't know at all. I mean, because I didn't. But at that particular time, and really now, if I feel the need, I can pretty much talk to anybody. If they're willing to talk to me, I'll have that disclaimer. But it was because of that process that I was able to evolve out of my shell to really be able to talk to people that I didn't know. And for those of you that are listening or watching, you know that as you build your direct sales business and you move outside of your friends and family, that you got to talk to people that you don't know. That's really going to be how you continue to expand your business. Now, right. I had already told you I'd done this for 19 years. So this is way before Facebook or social media like we're kind of doing now. So it was either I did that or it wasn't going to happen, basically. So that's what I did. But the whole time that I did that, it never really felt good to me. It just didn't resonate with me, because that wasn't me going out and talking to people. Now, granted, I did it because I felt like that was what I had to do. And then the people that were around me that were achieving the goals that I wanted to achieve, that's what I knew that they were doing as well. So what the saying is, you gotta copycat, but you gotta make sure you copy the right cat, is what I would say. Because in that period, I was basically being someone that I wasn't, and I wasn't feeling very good about it. And then I was trying to teach other folks to do what I was doing, and I noticed they didn't really feel too good about it either. So
I bet you some did. So I bet you some did feel good about it, because with the 4 different personalities.
Oh yeah.
Some would lean into that and go, but then, there's only out of the 4 personalities, there's only 2 that are actually very comfortable doing what you described. The other 2 personalities, for them, it's man, this is tough. This is not me, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it was something that kind of weighed on me.
Yeah.
And I kind of questions, okay, so do I really want to do this? Do I want to continue to do this kind of thing? Because this doesn't feel good to me. So it became then, okay, so if I don't do it this way, then how am I going to do it then? So at that point, I transitioned to what we call, what do you call it? The name escapes me. Fish bowls, where you would go out and put it in kind of a local business that you could still get leads and be able to interact with people that you didn't know. But when you did it, it was like you knew that the person that put their name in that bowl was somebody that you would want
So,
what you
so
have.
for those who don't know what fishbowl is, so a lot of businesses have very generously over the years, they have a fishbowl literally in
Yeah,
up
literally.
counter, and they encourage people to drop in your business card, take a
Yep.
business card, drop in so that you can network and meet with people. And again, really big back in the day. But if ever, those who don't know this, if ever you're at a business and you see the fishbowl there, a lot of people are still using this strategy, by the way. So
Oh
it's a
yeah,
really
they are.
fun and effective way of, they encourage you. You put in your name, you take one out, you connect with that person, and that person wants to connect with you, which is fun.
Right. And I guess mine had a little twist, a little bit different than that. It was kind of like it was a little sheet of paper that was a survey that you
Okay.
would kind of ask a couple of questions. And then based on those questions, you could determine if that was your person too. Another way I did it was I went to shows, or I guess like craft shows or expos where they would have tables where you could set up and you basically would wrap up something really pretty and tell people if they could enter to win this particular gift. And then when you did that, you would have all these leads, and then you would tell them, okay, you would actually pick a winner. So you were legitimately picking a winner, but then you made everybody a winner and offered them an opportunity to try your product based on them putting their name in. So I did that. I did that part of it too. I also made the little, I guess this was before QR codes. It was the
Right.
text number. I'm sure you guys remember that when you put the
Right.
number, you put a little code in and it takes their name and number, and
I forgot
that
about
was a
that.
way.
That was a really, really great strategy, actually.
Yeah. And I actually like that one too, because then I didn't have to physically go to the place I mean, I would go and check and make sure that it was still there, but it wasn't as often as I had to go to pick up the little papers when the people dropped their little surveys in. Because then it was like, okay, I got to make sure I go there to get them, because unfortunately you had some people that were in the same company as me that would take your leads. Yeah, you would have them. Yeah, imagine that, right? So that was one of the things that I kind of did a little twist was I dropped the leads. I made up, I think I had like 3 pieces of paper in there that had my name on it. Well, I would change the name. I would say Susie Q, and then I would put my phone number on it, and then I would have Billy Bob or something. I would just make up names.
Yeah.
So if somebody actually took the leads out and they call me, then I would know, okay, so you took my leads. But yeah, that was just a little trick of the trade. But I mean, hey, you get
The engineer, reverse engineering. I love it.
exactly.
That's exactly what you did.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's basically how I did it. Until, we had the COVID and we had to figure out again how we were going to do it. And then it was like a revelation came to me. It was like, oh, well, Inga, you used surveys before. Why don't you do that again? So now I've made it in a digital type of form that still allows me to still get leads and be authentically me, where I don't necessarily have to go out and talk to people like I used to. And well, I felt like I used to. I'll say, like, I felt like that was the only way that I could do it, but I can still grow my business and do the kind of the same thing, but from a digital point of view. So that's really how I evolved to really kind of be true to myself and grow my business the way that felt good to me, with growth
Yeah.
strategies that felt good to me.
I love this. And this is a great, great call that we're having, because as a leader who has been an introvert, you've used strategies, but being true to your authentic self, that I think this is going to touch someone listening to this today, because both of us have, you're probably doing it more naturally because it's your strategy, it's your personality, it's your profile, that usually within your personality profile, you naturally are attracting those who are like-minded to you, simply because you have so much in common. But of the 4 different personalities, there's 75% that you're like, oh, how do I speak to them? And so this is great, because I'm not your personality style, by the way. So I'm pretty sure I know what your profiles are, because that's what I love to do. And that's my giving
That's
people
your
light
thing.
bulb moments. Like that's my,
Yeah.
exactly, that's my genius, my point of genius, and how I've been able to relate to all four personalities all the time. But I love what you're sharing, because this is for those introverted green personalities that really don't, it's not that they don't like people, never mistake that, because Inga loves people. She
Yeah.
just doesn't, you know, she doesn't gain energy by having that type of communication.
The cold calling or the cold conversations.
Right.
That, yeah, it's the cold
Whereas
outreach.
one
Right.
personality absolutely loves that, and they
Loves it. Right.
thrive on, oh my goodness, I'm meeting a new person. I'm so excited to meet
Right.
you. And another personality, the blue personality, loves relationship building, and they will just actually stay in relationship mode. They have different work to do. They have to get out of relationship mode and actually do the ask. But I love in your personality that you've just, you've found ways that are authentic to you and systems to do that. Like,
Right.
your ace is up. Congratulations, by the way. You do a really, really great job
Well,
doing
thank you. But it was not something that happened. I want to let
that. Right.
people know this is not something that happened overnight. This was a lot of trial and tribulation. And then I often sometimes think, I was like, I must really wanted this because, so many times when people come up to a trial, they'll say, okay, well, obviously this is not for me.
Right.
And I guess my driving force was I was I was in a position at work that, I had the degree, I was making the money, but I just didn't like what I was doing and I really wanted out. So I looked at my direct sales business as my way out of corporate because that's what I could see. I saw these people, being able to go on vacation, being able to set up their day the way they wanted to. At the time, my son was a little bit younger and he wanted me to be the class mom. That was just like his
Right.
big ask, Mom, can you be the class mom? I'm like, there's no way I can be the class mom. And first of all, I work 30 minutes, 40 minutes away from your school. So I would literally have to take a half a day to go do something for the class and then come back. And it used to hurt my heart that I couldn't do that because of the type of
Yeah.
position that I was in. But it was just, how do I make that happen? How do I transition into something like that where I could be the class mom?
I
So
love
that was my driver. And that was what was really driving me to kind of figure this thing out because I didn't want to be there. I knew corporate was not my thing at all.
it. Mhm. And you've actually hit it right on the head for your personality too. For your color group and your personality. That is essentially what you have to do to make the move, and because you gave yourself a bigger picture and the overall why, which was awesome.
Right.
All right. Well, we just have a couple more minutes here. So let's talk a little bit about maybe a strategy that you've been using that you maybe want to share with everyone, that has been helping you.
Okay, let me cut off my phone. Wait a second. I'm sure you hear that in the background.
No,
Yes, you
no.
don't? Oh, okay. Well, then I'll just roll. All right. So, because it's not probably not going to be quiet until I cut it off. But anyway, if you don't hear it, it's all good.
It's
All
all
right.
good.
So a strategy that I've been using is to basically, like I said, instead of using this paper survey that I used to have,
Right.
I transitioned the paper survey into a digital form that I can now use pretty much, I'll say anywhere, because what I've done is I made the code a QR code so I can have somebody scan it if I'm seeing them in person. If I'm doing something on social media, I can also I can send them the link if I can send them an email. If I am doing something like this, I can send them to a website, which again still allows them to have access.
Yeah.
So that was the main thing that I wanted to do and that I was able to do is to transition this paper copy survey to actually be something that was digital. And then in addition to that, I tweaked the questions because what I was realizing is the initial survey that I had, I was basically asking them what I wanted to hear. And you may be thinking,
Right.
well, what do you mean by that? Well, I was asking them about the benefits of my products, that I already knew, but I never was trying to find out, well, what is their real struggle? If they told me their struggle, then I could kind of figure out, well, how can I help them? I mean, really to be of service to them more so than just trying to sell a product. So it was a different mind. It was kind of a mindset switch for me that I was able to do that. And I started getting amazing answers that I never thought that I would get because of that just little tweak. And I could tell that by the people that was coming in, I guess I would call it a funnel, were coming into my funnel, they were more, I guess, opt to really want to talk to me about the product or service because I asked them what their issue was, more so than me trying to just sell them a product. And there's it's a different energy when it came to that. So the conversations that we're having, especially as an introvert, I'm outgoing. I love to talk about my product and I'm passionate about my product and service. It was just the cold outreach that I struggled with. But now with this survey, because they were telling me what they needed, I was really felt like I was being of service to them to really be able to solve or really help them get their desired outcome because they were telling me what they wanted. So it was a completely different mind shift that I was able to pass on to my team members as well. Like, hey, we are problem solvers. We need to think of ourselves like problem solvers more so than just I'm a seller. I'm a direct seller. No, you're a problem solver. And as a result of being that problem solver, once you figure out what they want to do or what goal they're trying to reach, then you can say, oh, by the way, we have this product and this product that will probably help you meet your need and get your desired results. So that shift in itself was just amazing.
Yeah. And that you use technology.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So for those who are in that personality, the greens who like technology, I know some of my leaders are going to be eating this episode up because there's a couple technology leaders who are like, I don't know what to do. I need a way. I need the overall. And I'm like, oh, this episode is going to be for them. All right. Yes. So as we wrap up here, I love your story. I love your journey. I want to ask you one other quick question before we wrap up. And I love asking this question because top leadership gives similar answers, by the way. And so this is always what it's like everyone kind of has this very, very similar answer to this question that I find from top leaders. And it's key, which is why I love asking it over and over. If you were to go back 19 years and tell younger Inga, give her one piece of advice to move her forward, what would you give her?
I think the first thing that I would tell her is to trust the journey. I think oftentimes, and I know this is something that I've reflected on many a times, when I was growing up, I was told that I needed to go to school, get my degree, work for XYZ company for 30 plus years and get my gold watch. That path was laid out for me. So I knew exactly what I was doing and how I was going to do it. But entrepreneurship is no way, shape, or form like that. And what oftentimes people have difficulty with is they're so used to knowing all of the steps in their journey. When in entrepreneurship, what happens is we know the step that we're supposed to take today. And people, for whatever reason, don't want to take that step. They want to know, well, if I don't really want to do that. I want to know you're not going to know what comes next, because the only way you're going to know what comes next is if you do what you're supposed to do today. Right. And I can just tell in all of the times that I've been working or trying to go to a next level or make a big breakthrough, it has always been that, okay, Inga, this is what you need to do today. And then once I did that, it was just like, okay, so now that you've done that, this is what you need to do next. But if I would have sat on my hands and didn't do that at all, I would have never seen that next step. And that's often what holds people back, because they're not willing to take that action. And then they may blame their upline. They may say it's the wrong company. They may even switch companies and think for whatever reason it's going to magically be different. But if you didn't do it in company A, you're probably not going to do it in company B. And it's not the company. Right. oh, by the way, it's you. That's the common denominator in here.
We don't
That for
like
whatever
hearing
reason.
that though.
Yeah,
But
yeah, we don't. Yeah, we don't.
well,
We
I
don't.
sure didn't like hearing it. I remember having conversations, exact same thing. And I'm like, oh man. Then I'm like, it really is me. I got to change
Yep.
me before I could
I
change
got
the
to change
world.
me. That's right.
I
That's
love
right.
it. And I love that you know that trust the journey, because we're all basically actually on the same journey. And that's the other thing too. I'm like, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. The wheel's
Exactly.
been invented out there somewhere, but you do need to find the wheel that fits for you,
Right.
with your personality, fit it with your style,
Yep.
find it with your leadership, learn how you can mentor. Those are all different things that we can definitely find within us, but I guarantee someone else has probably already done that journey. You just have to kind of find which wheel aligns with you. So I love it.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I love that you gave yourself permission to trust that journey, and I'm so glad that you were with me today. I loved it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me.
All right, so we're going to wrap up here and thank everyone for joining us today. If you want to reach out to Inga, we are going to give a link here as well. We'll tag her into the Heart Centered Entrepreneur Series group. So if you guys want to ask questions, learn more about Inga and being an authentic strategist, and you're that type of personality that you need the strategy laid out before you, this one is
Yes.
for you. All right.
Yes. Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining me today. Goodbye, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned a lot. Each one of my guests have a special and unique spot in my heart, as they have shared what they love about their business and how they truly have grown in their entrepreneur journey. Thanks for sticking around to the end, and I would love to give to you a fun and easy quiz that you can take right now that will help you assess how you feel about the sales process in your beautiful business. Building relationships, lifting each other up so we can all gain more in our lives and our business is what is truly important to me. And my hope is that in some small way, I've been able to do that for you today. So again, this is Jody Maley with the Heart Centered Entrepreneur Series here in beautiful BC, Canada. Truly have a great and inspired rest of your day. The link to the quiz will be attached below, and please like, follow, and share this podcast if it inspired you today.